beautiful beings. It's Maya Joy and welcome to my brand new series where I am going to be answering your questions about my journey. All week long we will have daily videos answering the questions that you have posed to me, and oh my gosh, you all are some very smart cookies. You have asked some challenging questions and I just appreciate your interest in my journey. I had no idea that you all had these questions on your mind, so I'm hoping you will join me for a fun Halloween week of daily videos, starting with today. How did you start to be able to claim the worth of the services that you offer? Well, actually, so when I started beginning to do readings, I was doing it as an experiment. I was just transitioning from a graduate assistantship that I had working for the Humanities Council in the state of Wyoming, and then I was going to be moving back to Michigan, and I had about a month where I was underemployed. And all throughout my life, all my best friends and people that knew me were like, "Are you psychic? Like, you seem to be able to predict things that are happening and you should do readings." And I would like sit and talk to people and they would be like, "Wow, like this advice is really good. You could charge for this." And I was kind of in a pinch, like just in a life transition moment. And I had been blogging and my blog was like really, for the time, like it was gathering a lot of traction and a lot of people were reading. And so I just added like a PayPal button and I was like, "Oh, like I'm experimenting with readings. Like if you want one, you can get one." And that's how it started. And so it wasn't easy to claim my worth or value of my services. It's a long journey. I've been doing this for 10 years now. And at first I charged what I felt I definitely could deliver on. So when I first started, I charged $15. And I knew that even on my worst day, like I knew that I could give the person $15 worth of value in terms of insight. And so I charged that for maybe like 6 months, and then I increased to $25. And then I increased to $35, and then I increased to $55, and so on and so forth, until the sort of price points that I have now, which range all the way from about $40 to about $200. I reached like this crisis point at one point where my partner was unemployed, which for a long time, for like 2 years. We were both reliant on the income of my business. And at that point, that is when I had really no choice, but to actually increase my prices. I would do this all for free if I could. And I hope that maybe one day somehow actually I can. That would be really, really great. But basically, like the way I started claiming my worth is I just slowly increased over time as my gifts and abilities grew and my confidence in my gifts and abilities grew, and I continued to get feedback from others like, "This is valuable, this is helpful," for a long time. And even now, like to a certain extent with some of my services, I still get this, but for a long time, people would literally say to me, "You are not charging enough." Like a lot of people that were paying for my services, they were like, "You are not charging enough, like you need to charge more." And then it was really key for me working at a shop. So I worked out of a metaphysical shop and had an office there for a while. And they helped me too. They helped me. I remember having a conversation with my boss and she's like, even just the space that you hold for people is very special and it has a value. And she said, "You don't, like here at this shop, this is what we charge." And it was probably more than what I would have charged, but it was like, "This is what we charge. And if you want to work here, you've got to charge these rates." I've always really tuned into what is this value? What would I pay for this? And I've always ensured according to my own heart, which is subjective, of course, but according to my own heart, I've always ensured that I'm giving more than what the price is. So even now, like my most expensive reading is my everything reading. And I just put out a video like that I've been meaning to make for 5 years or so. I actually made it once and I hated it, so I recently remade it again about all my services. But anyway, so my most expensive service is $195. It's the everything reading. It's 5 readings in one. So you're getting 5 readings. You're getting a tarot reading, astrology reading, human design reading, question and answer reading, and like a channeled reading from the guides all in one. It's like a literal, it's as long as an audiobook, but it's specifically for you, like about your journey. And so for me, like, I feel like, okay, that has value. Like if a person is seeking to understand their journey, the value is worth the cost. But yeah, this is like, you could just see just from this question alone, like these have been big questions on my path. Like these were not easy things. And there was sort of a follow-up at this question, which is, were there points where you doubted the value of your work? Absolutely, yes. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, it is hard to describe this journey that I've been on. You have to have so much integrity to do this kind of work. And it requires a sacredness to stay connected to the spirit world, to cultivate that connection to God, source, the universe, the guides, and the angels. I mean, it's not something that you do lightly. Like, I live in constant connection to the other side, and I try to surrender my everything, my entire life, to a higher power over and over again, 100, 1,000 times a day. But I'm human, I make mistakes, I have bad days, my words get all bubbly and things come out wrong. I misperceive signals or signs that come from the spirit world. Sometimes I just mess it up. Like even when I was tested, like I've been tested in a couple ways, like my accuracy as a psychic on my worst days is about 83%, at least the worst days I was tested. There's an error rate there. When people come back to me and they say, Maya, your guidance was wrong, it breaks my heart and soul. And yes, I doubt the value of my work. And often I want to give up, because one thing that I don't ever want to do is harm another person. My journey is one of continual, now I don't experience like tremendous amounts of self-doubt every day. Luckily, thank you, universe. Like when I do, it really hits me. And when I do experience those moments of self-doubt or doubt around my work, I always take a step back and I say, what has been motivating me? What is my purpose? What am I here to do? Am I doing it? Is this the best way that I can serve with the level of health and wellness that I have at this time with my gifts, talents, and abilities? Is there a better way for me to do greater good in the world? Is there a better way for me to make a greater impact in the world? And I go deeply. Sometimes I fast and pray for days at a time, reflecting on my path and purpose, and getting back on track, you know? So, but yeah, like when I make mistakes or I see that there may have been a negative impact from work that I put out into the world, yes, that does cause me to doubt. That does cause me to doubt the value of my work. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Yes, like I mean, I used to shake for the first 500 readings when I was only charging $15, and I would spend like 5 to 6 hours. I did like my readings as these written reports, and so I'd spend such a long time, and I would just shake because I was so afraid of saying the wrong thing. And I would just be like, I'd get like vivid visions, but like it wasn't, especially when I just was first beginning, like it wasn't clear to me like what to say or like what they all meant and stuff. And I wanted to do my very best. I mean, like in my heart is a desire to do like every single day, the first thing I do is wake up and pray. And I always it's always part of my prayers, do the greatest good with the least amount of harm that I can do during this day. And so like my desire to do the best that I can with the seeds that have been planted in me is absolutely huge. It's enormous. When I feel that I didn't do it, that's really hard on me. And yes, it causes me to doubt the value. I just surrender my life to a higher power over and over and over again. And to do what I do requires tremendous amount of trust. It requires trust, so much trust in a higher power and in what is unfolding. And like, there are people that do things similar to what I do, that step out on stages and they're like, I'm the best psychic or whatever. And like, I don't do that. Like, and there's a reason why, right? Like, I want to ensure that people that come to me are guided to come to me, and that what is happening in us is unfolding as a destiny between us. There's a lot of ways to become confident in the value of what you're offering in the world. But for me, it's been repetition, and yeah, it's been repetition. So like, once I started doing readings, rarely a day goes by that I don't do readings. Most days I do many readings. I think the longest I've ever gone, like since I started almost 10 years ago, might be, I mean, I might have taken off a week. But usually like I'll just take off a day, like in a week or something, and then maybe I'll take off a couple days. But like, even when I take like off work from clients, like I still do readings. Like I still give guidance to anyone that I can, anywhere I can. Like, I try to give my life over to a higher power and to serve others. Like, so I don't really know if this like answers the question, but I guess like if you're trying to build confidence, whatever you're trying to build confidence in, do it over and over and over again, and understand you're gonna fail sometimes. And when you do, take a moment, reflect on what went wrong, make refinements, and keep going. It really matters that people share with me the value of my work. You know, there are times where I do question it, especially it's better now, like, because I'm doing a lot more calls and live calls and I'm getting instant feedback. But for a long time, I was doing like only MP3 readings. So like, I'm sending out this guidance. Like, a lot of people receive the guidance and they don't give any response or any response for a long time. So I don't know how the guidance sits with them. And a lot of times guidance like that comes through. It can be unexpected for a person, or it's guidance that they need for several years. But when they first hear it, it can be a lot. And it may not fully even make sense to them for months or years into the future and all this kind of stuff. Like, the best days of my life are the days where people say, Maya, you gave me this guidance and I implemented the guidance and it changed my life in this positive way. Because like, that is what I'm here to do, to the best of my understanding, at least at this time. And that's what I want to do. But every time it doesn't go like that, if it's like, Maya, you gave me this guidance and I did this thing and it didn't turn out like how we hoped, it shakes me at my core. It's still important for me to know so that I can continuously refine my abilities. Yeah, it does cause me to doubt the value of my work. And if you watch my work, which like the person who posed these questions does, like, you will see that I adjust and adapt what I offer over time. So if I offer something and it seems like, wait, actually that didn't have the value I hoped it would, I will immediately stop offering it, or I'll lower the prices so that it matches the value. So I'm very adaptable with what I'm doing. But it's extremely, 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 extremely important to me that what I'm offering to others has value. I've been resisting doing this series. I'm surprised I'm doing it, and I've been able to overcome the resistance. But for like a week, I've been resisting doing this series because I don't see the value in it. Like, I don't see how like you guys listening to me talk about this could help you. And like, offering you content of value is so important to me that I can hardly offer this to you. And I've been, to be honest, like, I've been arguing with the guides like a little bit. They've been reminding me over and over again how when I was given life again, because I died and I did come back in 2014, and part of the agreement was that I would share my journey. And so that they keep reminding me of that over and over again, and that there is value. And that people can get value out of hearing about my experiences that may help them. I really don't see how anyone could get any value out of this. Okay, but like, oh my God, just being honest. Like, but because like, I want to give you, like I said, like, my ideal like circumstance would be like some kind benefactor would just like paid me a salary enough to survive, and I could just for free just give like the greatest value stuff to everyone, like all the time, all day, like just like real people in the world, people that come to me, like people on YouTube, and just like that's like, I don't know, like sometimes like when I'm dreaming, I just dream of that. But yeah, I mean, this is so core. These questions that you guys asked me are like things that I really struggle with, which isn't what I was, first of all, like I put out a poll asking what kind of videos you wanted, and I didn't even think at all that you were gonna choose like to hear about my journey. Like that's not even, like I thought that you would choose like the astrology one or something, so I can't believe you guys are interested in this. So you're probably regretting it now. Like, oh my god. Oh, but I mean, here it is. So, okay, so that's day number 1. Come back tomorrow for another video where I will discuss my journey. Thank you for watching, and I hope today's Sunday, so I just hope that you have a great start to your week. It's a magical week. It's Halloween week, and yeah, I hope it's filled with blessings and happy moments. And in your heart right now, I hope you're holding an intention, a positive intention for the week. And I hope that that intention comes true.